place. So, good morning, everyone. Hello, Mr. Bates. How are you? So we are going to get started in just a moment in here. We are in the training room. Wave and say hello if you are at home. And so we have two agents that are new to us, but certainly not new to real estate. Kelly, who is joining us from EXP. We're super excited about her. She is chairperson of the North Shore Board YPN. And we have Viola that has come to us from Coldwell Banker as a top agent with a lot of listings and a lot of activity. So the two of them are with me today. And I think this is a perfect place to kind of get into the roadmap. So we are, of course, doing 30 days to greatness, which you guys have all been very patient in learning those first three classes. I know there's a lot to go through. And I've had some of you tell me that it's like drinking through a fire hose. And we hear you, we see you, and I feel you. I did not feel you guys, honestly, until I got into Marky's training about AI, artificial intelligence, and I got overwhelmed. And I actually just kind of shut down. And I was like, I think I need to take a break from this. And I realized that's probably what a lot of agents feel like when they join us or when they kind of come into a slow period like we're in right now, this balanced, stagnant market, where I have all these tools for you because I think it's a critical time to be engaged. But yet it's like, well, where do I begin? Well, how do I prioritize that? So I want to kind of take a step back today for 30 days to greatness, say, okay, well, where would I even begin with this stuff? I do need to close down the screen. You guys know that I am in the middle of, I got my certification from Realtor's Property Resource. I am way deep in those classes right now. So I just passed another one today. I'm really excited to share that with you guys on Thursday, but I wanted to today, again, kind of take a moment to step back. And where we're going to be working today is in those infamous living lists that you guys love or hate. Sometimes I don't know. But we have built in there what I'm calling roadmap, and roadmap right in the living list. And if you guys at home need to get into the living list, let me send you the link to do so. And there it is. And that's our permanent living list that lives forever in our resource area. Obviously, if you are not with us, that link does not work for you. But we, welcome everybody that's going to be watching this over time. So it's the first thing in the living list. And you personally, I would ask you not to necessarily at home, write down anything in there in the actual living list, because that's shared for everybody. But I wanted to kind of walk through, okay, if I am looking at all the different things I have to do, where would I start? And it's going to be in Wise Agent, guys. I really believe that Wise Agent would be the most critical place to start and getting those integrations set up with Wise Agent. And the reason why is that we're finding that some of you have room view set up, some of you have the digital presentation set up, and that's all great. But then Wise Agent is such a critical piece for you. I am going to add one more thing to this day one. It's actually already in here. I just maybe think it could be moved up in the priority, and that is ZenList. So I was working with Kelly and Viola this weekend on a coaching and just saying, okay, what is the most critical thing for you to do day one? It's getting your Wise Agent set up, but then also getting ZenList sent out to every single one of your people in your sphere. But what's the easiest way to do that? It would be to send it out through Wise Agent. And so that I want to get that set up and just kind of address today. I want to get us through any Wise Agent integrations you don't already have set up, and then also figure out what do you need to do in Wise Agent in order to start sorting through people. So we're really going to just hammer home on Wise Agent today. And then we will also get into the EXIT digital presentations today, because if you don't already have those set up, we really want to get those done for you today. So that's where we're going to focus. If you are, again, joining us at home, you're going to want to get into the living list and then also get into Wise Agent. And we're going to get you all cleaned up in your databases today. So if you don't already have those key integrations set up, and this will be review for some of you, you do want to go into that integrations tab at the top of Wise Agent and click on settings. And then you're going to go right into that API keys area. And you are going to just click on that copy to clipboard piece, because we want to make sure, again, going back to that living list, is that you have all those integrations set up so that you start to see people coming into Wise Agent every day. If you are not in your Wise Agent every morning, checking in on what is the key things that you want to do, who do you want to touch base with today, you are missing out, because that's how we're going to figure out over time, as I work with you one-on-one, what's going on and what's not. If we can't see that your Zen list is feeding into Wise Agent, that your text codes are not feeding into Wise Agent, we're not going to necessarily see all the new people that you're adding. And if you are not bringing new people into Wise Agent every day, in terms of both going through your phone, looking at LinkedIn and Facebook for birthdays, all of that different piece of information flow coming in, you are going to be behind. So again, you've copied that Wise Agent API key, and we're going to first make sure, if it's not already done, that we're going to go into exitrealty.com and make sure that those that code is in there. The reason why is, my goal for you is exactly, for those of you guys that came to my open house on Thursday, I had so many leads to follow up with from that fed right into Wise Agent. If you don't have those text codes set up, guess what happens? You're not getting them fed in. So Viola has a bunch of listings. She just ordered her signs. And so she's going to want to start enjoying the lead flow that comes in from that, but you're not going to see that if you don't have these set up. So yeah, they'll still come into your Exit Resource Center, but why not have them automatically come into the Wise Agent setup as well? So you can see, for example, if you're starting to see notifications come in. So I have a new property lead. So someone has messaged me off of one of my properties, which is awesome. That is exactly what's supposed to happen. And you can see it comes in off of a certain property. So if you look over here to the right, that lead came in off that property. So I'm able to immediately be able to start doing things with that person. So I can send them a digital presentation. I'm not going to send them a app invite to the Exit Connect app. We love the Exit Connect app. If you're watching from corporate, we love it. We're so happy about it. However, internally in our office, we want to send them Zenlist. And the reason why is Zenlist is a more powerful tool because it gets the private listing network listings. The Exit Connect app is beautiful for us. I don't recommend it for clients because Zenlist is the only thing that gets them the private listing network listings. But if you guys don't have these text codes set up and integrated over into Wise Agent, you're having to go into the resource center every morning, then add them to your Wise Agent. It's just the type of stuff that I don't think necessarily you have time, because remember, I'm a student of the business. I'm in this with you. So even though I co-list all my listings, congratulations, Cheryl Morlock. She and I have a closing today, or it just closed this morning on a listing we did together. It was a lead of mine. And that's what I do, is I try to pass these leads to work with you, but then I'm still in the tools with you. So I'm coaching you from the field. And so this particular lead came in that way. Then I'm able to instantly, by the way, send them the digital presentation. So I can go ahead and get that into them. You can see I've got these digital presentations set up, but before we even get into the digital presentations, I want to make sure that you have that API key set up so it's feeding right into Wise Agent. So how you're going to do that? You're going to go in under your name, and you're going to click on Settings and Preferences. We are in the Exit Resource Center, and you can see the only CRM that interacts with all the Exit tools is Wise Agent. So I'm very grateful to Exit Corporate and Wise Agent for doing that. That is such a key differential with Wise Agent. So you're going to click on Wise Agent Settings, and then what are you going to do? You're going to paste that API key there. So that API key lives in all your different tools, so that as a lead comes in to Wise Agent, it's tagging it as to where it comes from. It's tagging it by source. So they call it source. And so there's that key. Once you've got it in there, you don't have to ever do that again in the Exit.
Excuse me, Nick. Excuse me. Are you sharing your screen?
Oh, no. Wouldn't it be helpful if I shared my screen? Please hold.
Yes, it would.
Oh, guys, happy Monday. All right. Thank you, Edna. And just so you guys know at home, just as a reminder note that I will look at the questions in the chat at the end, because I want to get through this as much as possible first. And please don't put anything that you want me to tell me individually as a DM, because I will open it up and everyone will see it in the shared screen. So Edna, thank you for that. So I'll walk you guys back a step here. So what are we doing today is to make sure that those Wise Agent API code, you only have one, you don't need to ever add another one. You're going to put that in your little clipboard, and then you're going to go right into Wise Agent. I'm sorry, right into the Exit Resource Center from Wise Agent, click on your name and scroll down to settings and preferences. And then you're going to go right into the Wise Agent settings. So that at that point, once you're done with that, now and moving forward, every time you get a lead, so I'm going to share this again since I forgot to share my screen at the beginning. See where I've got a new mobile business card? I've got a new property lead. If you open these up in the resource center, it will tell you where that lead came from. So that one came off my Damon listing. So that's great. So that I can follow up with that person. I want to be able to send them a digital presentation, but I also want to be able to have them automatically in Wise Agent. So now that I've got that API key set up in Wise Agent, we're done and dusted. So you click on again, one more time, Wise Agent settings, and you paste that API key in there. So that API key also goes where else? Well, I'm glad you asked. It goes into Room View. It goes into Room View. So I'm going to click on Room View. And I'm going to log in there. Of course, they sent me a code to my email. Give me 1 second for that to feed in. There we go. All right. So 6640 is that code. And we're going to talk more about Room View here in a second, because I want to kind of get you guys all up to date on what we want you to do when you start interacting with people for the first time. So there's Room View. You click on leads and lead follow-up in Room View. So there's leads and lead follow-up. And then you're gonna click on get leads on your CRM. And you'll notice, by the way, right in here, this is gonna be one of these trainings that is not public. So this is just gonna be for us, because I do have personal information of clients in here. So this guy right here, Ken, that's a past client of mine. He did see on LinkedIn that I was posting something through Room View, and he submitted a form. He ended up buying another property, by the way, which is cool. Then Emily, that Damon address may look familiar to some of you. That's a past client of mine who submitted that form on February 5th, had no interaction with me personally prior to that. Obviously, I've followed up with her regularly after they closed in 2019, but she submitted a form through Room View. Isn't that odd? So it's like, you never know how clients are going to get back in touch with you. And then she'd also sent me a message on LinkedIn, but I get so many stupid solicitations, I didn't look at it. So this was the trigger for me. Thank gosh that she did that. So once you're in Room View, in the leads and lead follow-up, you're going to click on get leads on your CRM. And it is only one of two CRMs that work with Wise Agent. I'm sorry, work with Room View. So KV Core is the other one. Kelly just left KV Core for us. I had a wonderful call with someone that was walking through, what their interaction with KV Core is. Kelly had some thoughts on it as well. We really like Wise Agent instead, and we're happy with what they've done here for us. With Wise Agent, you just add that API key again right there. We're almost done with the API key, guys, though. So to catch you guys up, if you're not signed into Room View, send me an email and I will get you signed up in Room View. If you are struggling with your Wise Agent in general, I think today's going to be a big help session for you. And if you are struggling with Zenlist, I don't think anyone is, because Zenlist is so easy. It's the easiest tool we got, guys. It's also one of everybody's favorites, including our clients. Room View is where we're going to jump to here next to make sure that Room View feed is, Room View, Zenlist. I may need to have a cup of coffee. Zenlist, that's also feeding into Wise Agent, because as you're starting to invite people on social media, everywhere else into your Zenlist account, guess what you want to make sure it's happened, that automatically all the data gets fed into your Wise agent. So how do you do that? And again, I know for some of you guys, this is review. We will get into new things in a moment. You're going to email support@zenlist.com. And then you're going to click, say, please connect. And I'll leave the screen up for a second. Please connect my Wise agent CRM. And then right in the notes here, you're going to put, here is my API code. And then you paste it. They will, within probably 20 minutes, get you up and running with your Zenlist account being hooked up to Wise agent. Why is that so important? All of these integrations are so important. Every time moving forward, you get a lead coming in through any of these sources. Where's it going to go? Here's how I know whether you are really alive and up to date on things or not. Click on contacts in your Wise agent and then contact list. And if you go into your contact list and click on sort by and then date added, we're going to see these people coming in to our feed. And so my last person that came in through that feed is Alicia. How did Alicia get there, guys? Well, you click on that person and then look at this. It will say what source it came in from. So there's going to be a couple different sources that automatically get added to your Wise agent once you do those API keys. One of which it's Zenlist. Another one is going to be called EXIT Corp. And another one is called RoomView. So you're going to see as the leads come in, this is the genius of this integration with all these different products, is that moving forward, when you post something on social media, for example, you saw earlier today that I posted about strategic title. Well, I have a text code for that. You guys only get 2 text codes from Exit. We'll go into what those are in a second, but you also get a text code for each individual property. We talked about that on Wednesday. And as these feed in, then you're going to know where they came from. So obviously for Alicia, she came in through Zenlist. What's that going to be then for me? We're going to talk about groups in a second. I already grouped her when I saw her come in as a potential buyer. So I know then, you know, following up with her, I want to do certain things. One of which is send her what? A digital presentation. So for those of you guys that are struggling with content to send people, once you get the lead, this digital presentation, buyer or seller, is going to be absolutely critical to you. Because if you're not sending the digital buyer presentation or the digital seller presentation to them, what's happening? You're kind of like struggling for content, I think. And I mean, I have 8,000 things I can send them. If you are not already using the Project X buyer and seller assets, I will show you right now how to get those. So I'm going to go ahead and get those over to you guys right now. So if you see, and they're in the coaching blog, but I'm going to send them right in this chat. There's a seller drip campaign assets and buyer drip campaign assets. In addition to, now we have open house assets, and believe it or not, we have an agent attraction one too. So we have a lot of these folders. They're all starting with Project X. And I'll go ahead and resend to everybody in the office right now. So we have so many people that have joined us in the last week. It's kind of crazy. I'll start with the buyer campaign assets, and you can see all these different pieces in here. There's videos, there's all this other stuff, but you know what's not in there? Your digital buyer presentation and your digital seller presentation, because those are custom to you. Those are custom to you. And I'm going to go ahead and share this for the digital buyer campaign and the digital seller campaign right now again to the office. So some of you guys already have this, but some of you guys do not. I'll go ahead and do that one, and then I'll do this seller campaign, because this will then give you a baseline of things to send them. But we're going to go right from this module into the actual digital buyer and seller presentations. I'm going to show you a couple really cool updates to them that have made it really helpful for you to just plug and play with these. So let me show you that in just a moment. So for those of you guys that have not seen the digital and buyer and seller presentations yet, they are gorgeous. For those of you that have, I want to strongly encourage you to add them to your Zen list, Zen link today. And the reason why is the more information you can get directly into people's hands without you having to send it, the better. So let's click on now into the marketing tab in EXITRealty.com. So we're back in EXITRealty.com. And then we're going to click on presentations. If you have not looked at these lately, guys, you're going to be stunned because they just keep getting better and better. The seller one has now a seller survey. So what's genius about that? We were just talking in the classroom about, do I hand something to them when I meet them? Absolutely, you can hand them paper if you like. You would just click generate PDF. If you are not liking paper like me, or you just meet a ton of people when you're out, you can send the buyer guide and the seller guide right from the EXIT Realty Connect app. So if you don't have the EXIT Realty Connect app yet, guess what? That's right in the roadmap. That's your next thing in the roadmap to do today. Now, this is not a mobile presentation today because I'm in the classroom. I will be more than happy to this week to do a training just on the EXIT Realty Connect app. Eve this week is teaching a class, so I will go ahead and schedule that for Wednesday at 12 p.m. And of course, it will be recorded, but I'm going to do it from my phone. So then that way you can see the EXIT Realty Connect app in action. But the easiest way today to get ready to do that training on Wednesday, you're going to want to have the digital buyer and seller guides set up. So what I'll do now is in these, if you have not set them up yet, so Viola, I don't think you've set them up yet, right? Well, we're going to do this right now together as a group. This is not a stop training, but we're going to turn it into one for a second, because this is where, as I start talking to you guys individually, this is something that when I send it to people, they're like, oh, that's so cool. How did you do that? I'm like, well, this is from EXIT. So again, under the marketing tab, under presentations, that is where you're going to find these. And the first time you set them up, you're not going to see these yet underneath because of course you're new. So, or catching up. So what you do is you then click on manage settings in EXITRealty.com where we showed you. And then it wants you to put some information there. Now, I know for a fact that it is sometimes not fun for you guys to have to come up with this language yourself. I'm going to forward to you right now the information, literally every single piece of this, cut and paste into your email. So then that way you can just go ahead and do this yourself. So I'm going to stop the screen share for one moment, and I'm going to get into my email and send this out to everybody because I individually trained a couple of you on that. So let me get into that little box. And then guys, remind me to start screen sharing again. So this is the digital presentation language I'm going to be sending all of you right now. And so what you'll see is every single tagline or every single topic. And this is the language that I'm using. You don't have to use the same language, but this is nice cut and paste to start. Under the I'm distinct in the following ways.
You're not sharing your screen again. Excuse me. Your screen is gone again.
Got it. Okay. I had to stop it just to get this sent out to you guys. Hold on one second. Let me send this, open this back up. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So this is what you're about to get in your email from me. If you don't have your digital buyer and seller guide set up, by the way, the cool thing is the language is the same for both. So once you do this once, it is set it and forget it. So I'm going to send this to the whole office right now. And then that way, every single one of you will be on the same page. The only language, again, that I don't want you to use in there is the I am a 23-year industry veteran, because I mean, maybe you're more than me. Mary Petrie, I've sent it to her. I'm like, you're 30 years in the business, ma'am. So Jolynn Crawford, 40 years in the business, and she's on today. But everybody else, the second paragraph of that is the key one. I am part of a top. You're going to leverage the company until you get stuff of your own. Obviously, these two ladies in the room have great things to talk about. I see Patrick's on. He can talk about his great, his experience in the media part of the business. A lot of you have other things you've done that are great. Most of you have set up time to do a bio with me. If not, set up that time now because I'm happy to help you create that 3-paragraph bio for yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and forward this to you right now. Please see below if you still need to set up your exit digital presentations. Go to exitrealty.com and then under the marketing tab, I took a keywording class in high school. Then on the marketing tab, click on presentations. Then you have the language below. Use and adapt yourself. But again, you can just use all this language in there. But again, please note that 1 paragraph. I don't want you to do the same as me. So that is sent out to all of you. But some of you who have set these up don't have the generic language, so you can send the same one to a bunch of people. And I'm going to walk you through. Come on in if you'd like. I'm going to walk you through that right now. Hi, how are you? It's good to see you guys. Nicole Gray is here. Yay. So Nicole is a dual license agent with us in at Exit here, and then she's down in Florida and Jacksonville area. So if you have a Jacksonville referral, but we don't get to see her all the time. That's so glad to see you. So we're doing the digital presentation. Do you have yours set up? No, ma'am. How long have you been with us? Okay, so this is why we're catching you guys up. So for those of you guys at home as well, if for some reason right now you are on a mobile phone, Nicole, you can do this right now from your mobile phone. So if you've got the Exit Realty Connect app already downloaded, then you would just go into the presentations button on that. Now, of course, I'm on my desk on my laptop, so I can't show you guys that today, but if you've got that downloaded, and I can show you downloading it now, perfect. And then so that language is in your inbox, so you guys all have that. What I'm going to show you next, though, is new-ish. It's not new, but it's new-ish. And it's once you have the digital presentations, absolutely, you can send individual, one at a time, custom to them presentations. What I've struggled with, though, is sometimes I don't even have time to do that. It's like, I just want these suckers right in my mobile app and then also on my Zenlink. And by the way, Nicole, for you, I believe Zenlist works in Jacksonville now. So you're going to want to get, they can hook up in 2 MLSs at once. I think they can even do 3 now. Yes. So we love that you're here today. You brought some warm but rainy weather, but thank you. Okay, so everybody at home, you now have the language for this stuff. I get a lot of questions about my trusted group of industry professionals. I don't check any of these boxes. They just show up. If you are brand new, it's not even gonna allow you to touch that button that says my 3 most recent Zillow reviews because you don't have any yet. But for the rest of us, if you have at least one, go ahead and click that, because the genius of it then is it automatically updates with your most freshest ones. So it's really cool. So for example, then it will go through. Is that a live example? I have no idea who Mary is. I think that's just a sample one. Who's Mary? Then you're going to click save. And once those are done, guys, you're done with them. I do get other questions about this. So if you go back into my presentations, some of you have asked me, what is the difference between a listing presentation and the seller guide? Here's why I don't like the listing presentation. It tells you to have a price. When are you going to use these? You're going to use these the first time you meet people. And you're not going to want to I've not seen your house. I went to a place on Friday morning. Lana, if you're on, I might share this one with you because I'm sharing all my listings. This one is like, I'm like, oh, wow. I went over there and the place was super nice, but the next door neighbor had like a fire. And I'm like, well, when is that going to get fixed? So my market analysis would have been so far off because I thought his place was going to be rough and the next door neighbors would be great. And I was the flip side of that. So I never use personally the listing presentation because it asks for a price. I'm here to do a seller guide or a buyer guide. And then the sponsoring guide, it's like if you want to introduce another agent to Exit. So for you, Kelly, this would be valuable. For everybody, it would be. But I don't use the listing presentation. But I have set up a generic buyer guide and a generic seller guide. And here's why. I just sometimes don't have the time to customize them. And I put both of these on my Zen list in the Zen links, and I'll show you guys how to do that in a second. because what I want to be able to then do is say, hey, just go to my Zen link, and then my Zen link looks amazing. So if you've ever wondered, what does the Zen link look like if it's fully built out? Well, guess what? I have teamlibert.com, which is it just forwards directly to my Zen link. So you can put a video in there. There's your Google reviews. There's your Zillow reviews if you want to add them. But then look what I have below that, guys. A generic buyer guide and a generic seller guide. A generic buyer guide and a generic seller guide. And look how they look. So it says buyer guide prepared for, and then I say Nick Libert's buyer and investor guide. And then for the sellers, it says seller guide. Thank you for your time and allowing me to tour your real estate. I hope to work with you soon. Easy. And then the seller guide now, by the way, both the seller and buyer guide have these great.
How are you?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you.
I'm gonna mute everybody. Hold on. Be silent. There we go. Okay. Okay. So guys at home, you can obviously unmute yourselves if you have a question. So the buyer guide that came out a year ago, and I was so in love with it that I have harassed corporate for so long, and they literally took them a while to get the tech to work for the seller side. Here's what I struggle with. I not only don't have time sometimes to send these individually and customize, I also I want to know who I'm talking to. So if I'm sitting there going, hey, I met, for example, that Alicia lady that came into me as a lead, I split her with Kiara. And the cool thing was I was able to send her the buyer guide. She could fill that out. And the same way with the sellers. And then it'll go where? It'll go directly into your Wise Agent. And it'll sit there in the notes on Wise Agent. It'll tell you all the stuff about that person, because what's it doing? It's got a cell phone and email, all the stuff the Wise Agent needs, if you've got the API key set up. So for those of you that are trying to scale, think about if you had like a video on Facebook or LinkedIn or anything else, or if you were doing any ads that you had that sending out, say, hey, go to this website, fill out the form, and it's going right into your Wise Agent. It could really streamline your business, but you need to get these set up. So to make the generic version of them, I gotta go through 8 different screens here to get to them. Probably need to close out a couple windows, right? Let's do that.
And then I'm in here. It made me create an account and I'm in here, but I don't see my presentation.
Hold on. Let me take that from you for a second, and I will. My phone's up there over there. So you are in the wrong one, because that's the consumer version. You want to sign in as an EXIT Realty agent. So log out, and then you need to create that. I can show you right after this too. And guys, if we have time, we may even do a second round of this with the EXIT Realty Connect app, so you guys can see it through the Connect app. But how you do the generic ones, let me show you. You would just click on Add New Presentation, and then the language you're going to use for the buyer guide is the following. So here's what it looks like when they say fill this out. We're again pretending that this is that we don't have a name for the person, because of course this is a generic one. So you're going to click on buyer guide, and then the prospect's name is Nick Libert's buyer and investor guide. Because guess what? This is the beauty of these guides is, for those of you guys that are newer, or that just don't know what to say, it's got a timeline. It talks about on the buy side buyer credits or the potential closing costs, all the stuff. Same way on the seller side, it talks about potential closing costs. They're just so well done that it answers so many questions for my buyers and sellers that by the time they fill that out and look at it, when they get to me in the meeting, it's just like so easy because they filled this out. Sometimes they don't fill it out, but I want to at least give them the option in advance. So I'm finding out more about these people, because here's what's going to happen. That Alicia lady, I had no idea what she wanted. I had no idea how she found me. So it was just chance. So the prospect's name again is your name. And I did this little, I don't even know how I made that sign. It was like that's not an I, it's like some sort of weird semicolon. I don't know what that is. Somehow that got in there. And I liked it. Oh, it's if you click on Shift and then all the way on the right-hand side of your keyboard, at least on a Mac keyboard, it's right below the delete button. And so that's how I did that. You could just, if you can't find that key, just put buyers and investors guide with your name in front of it. And then the letter to buyer or seller, this is, I figured out, this looks a little better than the way I was doing it before. I just put looking forward to potentially working with you. Looking forward to potentially working with you. And then below, because we work with all, I just don't know who my next client's going to be. I use the generic key because it's like, you've got different age ranges, different demographics of everybody. I used to use the cute little moving day one, but then I'm like, I'm working with investors. I don't think they want that. So there's I just did this generic key with the teal. So that's it. And then you click save. And then that generic one is done. Now, how do you get that generic one into your Zen list so that you've got it in your Zen link? Well, let me show you. Once you've got that generic buyer guide done, you're going to click on view to open it. And there that beautiful sucker is with my little orange face on it. And then you're going to click on, see where it says show.exitrealty.com -1 blah, blah, blah. Okay. You're going to just copy that. And then we're going to go right over into Zen list. And I'm going to give you a second to catch up. And then in Zenlist, and you can do this, I think, from your phone in Zenlist. It is not, this is one of those things where, yeah, you could do it. I did my first digital buyer and seller guide straight from the Exit Realty Connect app while I was literally sitting in traffic, but don't tell anybody about it. Don't tell City of Chicago. But the Zenlist, it's a little bit harder from your phone. I do it on a desktop or a laptop. But once you're in your Zenlist, you're going to click on new. I'm sorry. Yeah. Click on public profile. It's not new, but they just keep wanting you to see it because we were the first ones that got this functionality because I was the beta test. And the philosophy behind the Zen link is it should replace Linktree. For those of you guys that are using Linktree, because here's the thing is Exit Corporate has beautiful templates for websites. They're really nice. But here's, it's like, well, then we have another thing to add to our list, don't we? No, we don't. We're not going to do it. We're going to do right here. This is your website from ZenLink. This is yours. They call it your ZenLink website, your ZenLink landing page. Once you get it set up, you can always send it right out. It is set up, but it doesn't have all these cool links. So we have that first link for that buyer guide. So we're going to click on add new section. And then your title is Nick's guide for buyers or whatever you want to put. You can use mine as a sample. And then you're going to put URL. You're going to paste that URL. And then you're going to click on add section. We're going to go back in and do this for the seller guide right now too. Now, one thing that I learned, because of course it's trial by error and trial by fire sometimes, is that I put all these Zen links or all my cool stuff in Zen links, and I had the request access button move down, way down. And the nice programmer that spent all night and weekends doing this Zen link with like using mine as the beta test, he goes, why did you do that? He goes, this looks so nice, but why did you do this? And why did I do what? I said, this is your product. And we laughed and he goes, well, so then if someone, clicks on your Zen link to get to this and you've got the request access all the way down at the bottom, on a mobile phone, they won't see it. They have to, they can, but they're going to scroll down past all your paraphernalia in order to get to it. So that you want to keep that request access thing, which is actually just called main profile, right towards the top. And how you do that is if you start getting too much above it, look what you can do. You can literally move it anywhere you want. So everything can go wherever you want. I'd keep that main profile button close to the top, if not at the top. If you don't yet have a cool video of yourself, make one now. Make one. I'm sitting here looking in the training room. You can go in any room in this office. Adriana can hold your camera for you. I would do it horizontal, not vertical. And the reason why is it does look at the way it shows up there. I've not tried it with a horizontal one. I may try it and see if it still looks good and goes across the whole screen. As a matter of fact, I think I can let's do this. Let me show you that real quick. I'll see if it looks different for that video feature if I do one of my reels, because the reels are, what are they? They're under a minute. And I'm not reels, YouTube shorts. So let me see with a YouTube short if it looks different. It may not even allow you to do a YouTube short. And I know for some of you, video is not your thing. Don't worry about it. We'll We'll get back to that if we need to. I'm going to go into my own profile. So for any of you that have any video, maybe it's just you in front of a property. John Zimmer's is starting to do video, and I love that because John, that was not his thing, and he's really good at video. Andrew Coppins, really good at like doing TikTok. So all those videos can be repurposed. Let me do a see if any of these, maybe not the one with me half shirtless. No, right? That's your coach. I'm not going to do that. Let's see here. This Fed interest rate one. These are all, by the way, extra videos in room view. So let me see if this Project X superior user experience, if that might be one. This is one that I made myself, so it's cheesy. So if I click on share and then that copy button, let's see if they like that format or not. Need valid YouTube video. Nope, does not appear to like shorts. That's a no. Nope, so we got to get rid of that one. So it only likes the horizontal format YouTube videos. So let me get rid of that. If you make a mistake, look guys, you can just delete whatever it is in there. So it's gone. And it's a live update over here on the right-hand side for all of you guys. So again, if you don't have videos yet, don't worry about it. We will work with you on video. Start experimenting though, because I got to tell you, that is a very compelling look at the top. The reason why is, guess what? Some of these people you're sending to have never met you, right? They've just met you at an open house or wherever else. So start thinking about video. We'll help you with some resources on that, but we need to get these basic stuff done first. So we've done the buyer guide. Let me stop for a second and say, does anyone have a question with the digital buyer guide or getting it set up to have a generic version on your Zen link? I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat just so you can see mine as a sample. So let's go ahead and do the seller guide. And then we're going to jump into Wise Agent, guys. So the seller guide, let me close out a few windows. Click, 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 click. This is my day every day. Then we're going to go for the seller's guide. It's called same thing. You're going to click on add new presentation. But again, we're not doing the listing presentation. We're going to do a seller guide because it's generic. It doesn't have it's not property specific. And I do not use the listing presentation. I use the seller's guide, and then I send them a CMA after I've been at the property. And we're going to have another class on Cloud CMA. Do you use Cloud CMA yet? You do. Do you use Cloud? Okay. So these ladies do. If you at home do not, we will have a whole class on why it's the best. Even though I just spent 12 hours getting certified in RPR, it's not the best. It has some cool features, but Cloud CMA is the best. So for you guys, then you need a generic seller's guide though, to be able to send them something in advance. So here's how we do it. Once you get into that, again, seller guide in the presentations, you're going to call it under prospect name, Nick Libert's, well, or your name, Guide to Selling. Guide to Selling. And then in that letter to seller, Nick Libert's Guide to Selling. That one I do repeat just because for some reason in the seller guide, the prospect's name shows, it just looks a little different. So I've decided to amend that. So if you've done this training with me before, that's an amendment. And then I do go ahead and I use that same little key there. If you guys want to print these out ever, you can save them as PDFs and print them out. You can I would not print a bunch of them out because they're 22 something pages long. You can also bind them in the office. We have a binder. So if you need supplies, they're right here. And then what are we going to do with that? The exact same way that we did the buyer guide. We're going to click on view once that generic version is done. And you've got that same URL link, or a URL link, not the same one, a URL link, but the same technique. We're going to copy that. And we're going to put that over into our Zen link by adding a URL link. And same deal, title, Nick Libert Seller's Guide, or whatever you want to call it, Guide to Selling. And then you're going to click on that URL right there. And by the way, one thing that I had them go back and do. So if you saw the day that this came out and I was so excited, I did not like something, well, because we have such a great relationship with Zenlist, they changed it for me. What did they change? See, now you can have all your social media as buttons. Before, you would add them as URLs, and it's like all of a sudden you had way too many buttons. So how to add your social media accounts is literally, it says right there, social media. You may not see that yet. If it says you don't have them set up, it'll say add new section. And one of those buttons, there's one that's going to say reviews from Google, another one that's going to say social media. And then you're going to add your social media. And they've got Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. They don't have, it doesn't appear like, doesn't seem like they have YouTube. But the funny thing is, well, if you got a YouTube channel, put your favorite video right there. So that's appropriate. Okay. So we've gotten this far. Guess what? If you've gotten this far, all you need to do to really day one, start to make a real dent in what you're going to need to do out there, you're going to need to start grouping your contacts in Wise Agent. You're going to need to start grouping your contacts in Wise Agent. So if you don't already have Wise Agent connected to your phone, I have a little video that I've made for you that's really the only way I can do it without teaching a class on my phone. And I will post that video to the coaching blog as soon as we're done. I think I'll do it as a reel because I did a reel on Saturday to the coaching blog showing how easy it is to share a client in Zenlist. So actually for Nicole, for you, one of the cool things in Zenlist is that, you know, you're going to be in Jacksonville most of the time. You pick up a Illinois buyer or seller, you can add them on Zenlist, and then you can share that Zenlist lead with, or that Zenlist client with anyone else in the office. Yep. Same way that you can also do that in Wise Agent. We're not going to talk too much more about Zenlist right now. Well, let's get into Wise Agent. And here's what we're going to do. We need to get your categories going. I will tell you before I open this screen up, my categories are a little messy because I also use this for recruiting and for some exit communications with other stuff, people I coach across the country. So it's going to look a little messy. I did go down to, put certain things in place so it looks a little better than it used to, but just know yours should be cleaner than mine. So how you're going to add these categories if you don't already have them. And I would recommend you do exactly what I tell you here. And the reason why is if you group them the way I do, then we can start figuring out what's going right and wrong in your database. If you do it your own way, it's like it doesn't quite, it's a little bit harder for me to coach you. So ignore all these messy extra categories that I've got. And then you're going to only want to add, for now, the following. And of course, what I did is I put my name in front of it. You don't need to do that because you don't have all these other messy categories. So the first one I've got it highlighted on your screen. It's called General Sphere. That's General Sphere. And then I put in parentheses SOI. What is that sphere of influence? That is the random.
Hey, Nick, can you
Yes.
share your screen, please?
Am I not sharing my screen? Yes, I am. Can you guys see this?
We can see it.
Yes.
Okay.
Why is
Good.
mine not working? Okay.
I don't know, but this is being recorded. For once, it wasn't me. Okay, so General Sphere or SOI would be all the people that you can't figure out where else to put them. So it's like, okay, this is not a potential buyer. It's not a VIP. It's not a potential seller. They're not a past client. They're not a vendor. Who the heck are they? General Sphere. Those are just people that we're not going to delete them because I don't believe in deleting anybody out of your database. They can delete themselves by unsubscribing. But General Sphere would be your first one. And again, ignore all my additional categories that are for different training. I'm on a beta test with Wise. I'm on an 8,000 beta test right now. The next one's going to be past clients. And so if you don't see them yet, thank you, Viola, for pointing that out. So of course you don't see them yet because you haven't created them yet. Okay. You're going to click on, there we go. You're going to click on manage categories and you're not going to see them yet. You're going to need to add that category and type it in. And then once you add it, it will get added to this drop-down menu here. So your first one again is going to be no, that's okay. No, it's great. Thank you for mentioning that because otherwise no one else would know what we were doing either. So General Sphere is your first one, General Sphere, and then I put in parentheses SOI. And I do capitalize them. The reason why is if you are in Google Contacts and already have some categories built out in there, they will transfer over to Wise Agent, but they'll be lowercase. So that's how you can tell like what's the difference. So I always do capitalize the first letter in each word in your category. So general sphere, parentheses, SOI is the first one. Second one is past clients. That's anyone you've ever done business with. Buyers, sellers, renters, they're all the same one. And the reason why is I don't really have anything to a different message for past clients, because anybody that bought through me now would be a potential seller. Anyone who sold through me has probably bought something else, I think. And sometimes they move away. I just put them all in one category. Because if they're a past client, I'm going to treat them like a great human being, because they've hopefully enjoyed my services. So past clients is your second one. Your third one is potential buyers. Potential buyers. And the reason why you are going to separate out potential buyers, potential renters, which is your next category, and then potential sellers. Those three categories, you're going to separate them out because there is different messaging to those. There is different messaging to those. And I can also tell, for example, I have all these potential buyers, obviously I'm kind of moving in a different, like a coaching direction. I'm not quite as active prospecting anymore, but you should have some potential sellers, right? So right now I got a bunch of potential buyers. And then potential renters is your next category. So potential buyers, potential renters. Maybe they'll turn into buyers, but for right now, obviously they're going to get Zenlist too. Everyone gets Zenlist. Buyers, sellers, renters, VIPs, because that's for everybody. But you do want to separate them out because maybe I have a message just to renters saying, hey, are you sure you want to rent? I got some first-time home buyer programs, etc. And then potential sellers. Next category. Remine farming, or you could just put farming, but you may, if you're doing any other type of farming, you may separate that out. But I just called it remine farming because really it's the best place I can think of to farm. Next category is vendors. Why do we want to separate out all your attorneys, your home inspectors, your appraisers, your obviously your lenders, all those folks? Because you're going to want to be able to press one button and say, hey, I'm doing an open house soon. Can you sponsor my open house? I got a new listing. Can you do a open house? I want to do a home buyer seminar or a homeowner seminar. Can you help me? We want to separate those folks out. So I got 22 of those. Next to last category. Did I say past clients? If I did not, all your past clients, I did. They all go into one. Last category for now, VIPs. I get this question a lot. What is a VIP? A VIP are people that's your referral army, people that have not used your services personally and closed, but that are your advocates or that should be. So VIPs are people like, I have a friend he's a former lawyer, but now he's like a law firm recruiter. So what does he send me? All the potential attorneys that are moving here that don't have a realtor and need housing. What a great person to know, right? And some of your vendors could be potentially VIPs as well, but we do separate them out. It's really going to be the people that know a lot of people. So I have that eye doctor. I always use her as an example. She sends me a lot of business. That's a VIP. Business owners, community leaders, people that know a lot of people, or quite frankly, just people that like you a lot. These are your raving fans, go in the VIPs category. And people, most of your VIPs, hopefully eventually, I used to have 300 people in there. Well, guess what? About 80 more of them have bought over the last 2 years. So your VIPs should turn into their own clients. But I have people that, quite frankly, they're never going to buy, or that they don't live here. So they're not going to be a potential buyer or seller, but man, they send me business. I have a lady that she is a past client, but she moved out of state. She still sends me everybody she knows here. And I have a friend that will never buy, I don't think ever. But they send me all their leads. So, hey, I'm grateful for all of it. So if we can start to separate out, then what we can then do is when you and I have a one-on-one session, and guys, we're about done for today. So we want to keep it under an hour. Once you are done with this, you and I can go in and see where the problems are. If there's 50 total people in your database in all these categories, we have a real problem. If you have a bunch of past clients, but no new clients, guess what that means? We need to go back to those folks and we need to prospect for new ones. If you have a bunch of people in here and none of them are buying or selling, we have a conversion problem. So I don't know what the issue is until I help you. I have some people that they work only with sellers. I'm like, man, that's a lot of past clients. Are they all sending you business? We need to figure out where you are. And if you have less than 500 people total in this database, that concerns me greatly. So you need to figure out what integrations you need turned on. We talked about all of that. If you don't have this set up to sync up to, and this is where we're going to leave you today. If we don't have this set up to sync up to your phone, that's your most important integration. But before I teach you about that integration, I want to make a couple comments, and these are in that little cheesy video that I'm going to put in the coaching blog, where I walk you through on an iPhone how to make sure that your phone is connected to a Gmail account. It's the same Gmail account that gets synced up in the integration I'm about to show you. Go in your phone before you do this and look to make sure, Kelly and I worked on this with hers. You want to make sure you have first name, last name, and then obviously a mobile number. So in an iPhone, you can select what type of phone. It defaults to phone. You know, it's just a regular one. You want to go back in there and move that to mobile. Maybe before you ever sync your phone up, but obviously if you sync it up and you got to clean stuff up, you're always going to be revising your data. Just because my comment to you is no double data entry, it doesn't say no data entry. It's like, it's data cleanup most of the time for all of us. But if you can do this before you sync up your phone, but then just do, it's like, don't sit there and say, well, I'm not going to sync it up till I clean my phone up. There's people that have been saying that for 6 months. You've lost 6 months of ability to communicate with all these people. So we really want to get that cleanup done. And if it's not done, just get them in there, but be conscious of the fact that it's better if the data is cleaned up a little bit. The other thing is, if you don't have email addresses for people, why not send them a text? Since you've got them in your phone, you probably have a mobile number, right? Send them a text, say, hey, I've got some really cool events coming up I wanted to add you to, or invite you to. Can I get your email address? And we'll talk another day about LinkedIn, but LinkedIn does have some email addresses that are accurate, because what do people want to do? Get recruited. We need to start adding people on LinkedIn. I did have a little video about that this weekend as well in the coaching blog. That was because Jeff and I did a coaching together. So a lot of these coaching sessions one-on-one are triggering the next round of trainings for you guys. So I'm not coming up on all of them out of thin air. So here's what you do. When you get people in your phone, every time you add somebody in your phone, and obviously the whole phone needs to be integrated into your Wise agent, here's how you do it. If you're in an Android phone, it's real easy. Just go in and make sure that that's the Gmail account that's synced up to your Wise agent. It's not. It needs to be. That's I knew that's why we're gonna fix that today. So in an iPhone, again, I'm gonna post the video in a second, but long story short, in iPhone, you go under settings, and then you click on, once you're in settings, you click on contacts. And then once you're in contacts, there's going to be the ability to add a Gmail account if you don't already have your Gmail account in here. For those of you guys that have multiple Gmail accounts, here's the struggle, is you've got to pick out the one that you're going to sync up to Wise Agent. And my recommendation is, if you have more than one Gmail account, have it be the one that has the most people in it.
Pick the one that I want it to be.
Yep, pick the one that you want it to be. And then you're also going to want to go make sure that that's, everything but mail. You don't need mail. And then they go back one screen, or I think 2 screens, where you're going to make sure that that's your primary. That's going to be the one that you default account is going to be. Click on that and make sure it's the right account.
You are awesome.
I have been doing this a while, friends. So once you get that set up on your phone, and again, I'll have a video in the coaching blog about that, that walks you through screenshots of it. But then you're going to want to go into Wise Agent, click on integrations, and then click on Google Contacts. Yep. So we're back in that. We live a lot in this integrations tab. Click on activate. And then at that point, all of those contacts from your phone, as long as they have a first name, last name, and either a phone number or an email, hopefully both. But a lot of people, it's, you got a phone number because that's what we're used to. What we need to start training your body to do, though, is when you meet someone, you get their last name, or you don't put them in there as John the painter, or Nick, do not pick up. Because I got a few of those. And then again, getting this synced up. So you click on activate and it'll ask you for your Gmail account. You're gonna have the same Gmail account synced up here that you do in your phone. For a couple people, they just already had a Gmail account set up, but it wasn't the same one. You want that to be the same account. So guys, that's a full hour of what you need to do for day one. Everyone's like, everyone in the classroom looks like they need to breathe. So what we'll do on Wednesday, because tomorrow we're just gonna have accountability. What we're gonna do on Wednesdays, we're gonna work on the EXIT Realty Connect app. The EXIT Realty Connect app. It's gonna be an easy session. It's gonna be an easy session because then what we're gonna go into is LinkedIn. We're gonna talk about wise text, all that kind of stuff. But we need to get this day one stuff done. So if you need to watch this again, don't worry, it'll be in the coaching blog.
Perfect.
And I am going to go ahead and get this turned off because I am coaching another round of agents. So thank you guys for being here and we will see you later. Have a great day.
I definitely